Hey there, this is the Small Fish, Big Podcast, a show for the gallus few who dream and do. If you're a small biz owner, a creative freelancer, or someone dreaming about leaving your 9-to-5, this is the podcast for you. Each week, I'll chat with an inspiring guest who will share their entrepreneurship story before we delve into a discussion about running a creative business. Thanks for tuning in. Hello and welcome. This is episode 3 of the Small Fish, Big Podcast. Today, I'm joined by Miriam Taylor, who is a personal trainer and one of the most inspiring and motivating people that I know. Thanks for joining us, Miriam.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you.
Well, Miriam happens to be my personal trainer. We met almost 2 years ago, actually at a networking event. And we connected at that event, and it was just perfect timing. It was at a point in my life where I was ready to make some healthy changes, and I really liked the way that you, I really liked your whole mantra and your attitude towards it really spoke to me, and that was us. We've been working together for, 2 years now almost?
Nearly 2 years. Yeah, it's crazy.
I know, time flies.
I know. It's funny because you came to me when you had Charlie at 10 months, I think Charlie was.
Yeah, that sounds
and it's funny, like we were saying that the other day, that like I've almost watched Charlie grow up into like from like a little baby into like a little person now, which has been really nice. That's been a total benefit to PT News, also seeing your wee one grow up, which has been lovely.
And it's nice that she knows you. And I mean, now we'll talk about this in a little bit about sort of how you've shifted your business as well. But now doing workouts and stuff from home, and she knows that it's you. And I meant to tell you this the other day. We were playing in her dollhouse the other day, and she put all of her little dolls like propped up on their arms in the living room. And I was like, what are your dolls doing? And she went, they're doing push-ups. She's gotten used to this whole workout at home thing as well.
That's
so
sweet.
On
really
that
nice.
note, will you tell us a little bit about how you started your journey into entrepreneurship, when you kind of came up with the idea for starting your own business, and how that all played out?
Yeah, of course. So my background is not in sport and fitness. I actually went to uni and college for a total number of 5 years to do fashion technology. So that's rather than the design part of fashion, it's more the technical side. So being able to take a design from paper and actually make it into a garment for manufacturing. So I did that for 5 years. I then went and, funnily enough, got a job in Glasgow, which is actually unheard of, to get a job as a garment technologist in Glasgow. So I was one of the very, very lucky few that got a job in my field, and I didn't really have to move very far for it. So I did that for just under 4 years, so a total number of 9 years working in fashion. And the company that I worked for, they weren't the most inspiring company to work for, and I found my job quite stressful, and I almost needed like a way to release the stress, and I needed a hobby as well, because I felt like my life was just work and nothing else. There was no like work-life balance, so I needed something that was a hobby. So I joined a local gym and just started from there, and I just really saw the benefit, both like physically and mentally, of what the gym and what exercise can do. And I went and did the PT course, basically just to learn about it. I never ever thought that I would make a business out of it. I thought I would maybe do it on the side.
So when you did that course, then you weren't, when you signed up for that course, you didn't actually have being a PT in mind. You wanted to learn more about it for your own benefit.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I could maybe do something on the side. So when I qualified, I went down to London and I did a nutrition course as well, and that was purely just so that I could learn, and basically to help myself for my own training. And yeah, it was just really to learn. And from there, when I qualified, I just started to take some boot camps for people that I worked with. So my work colleagues, we would go outside to the grassy area outside work, and I would take boot camps at lunchtime, boot camps after work. And then I thought, do you know what? Like, I actually think I want to do this as a job. So I just started putting things in place. I started to get a few clients just through word of mouth, some people that I worked with. I started taking clients before work. I found a gym that I could work out of. So I took clients from 6:30 in the morning till 7:30. I would then travel back to work from 8 till 4. And then would leave work at 4:30 and go back to the gym some nights and work until 8 o'clock at night, and then come home and do it all again. And then I would work at the weekend. But I was never at that point, I still didn't think you can do this as a job. Like, this could be your job. I just still saw it as something that was part-time, something that I was doing for fun. And it wasn't until, this is a funny story, but it wasn't until my best friend, who I worked beside, turned to me and said, I've got another job, I'm going to be leaving. And I was like, I can't be in this job by myself. And that gave me the push to think, do you know what, you actually really enjoy fitness, you enjoy being a personal trainer, why don't you just go and do this? What is the point in juggling 2 jobs? So I have to thank her, because she gave me a massive push, because without her I would maybe still be in that company and doing PT on the side. So we both handed in our notices, and I started up my company 4 weeks later and just jumped straight in. And
so that was you. So you basically went from doing it very part-time, kind of before and after work and a bit at the weekends, and just went, I'm gonna take a leap of faith, and went for it full time.
Yeah, and I had absolutely no idea how to start a business. I didn't do any courses or anything like that. Like, I literally just went, I'm just going to try this. I'm just going to go for it. And like, to my character, that's very uncharacteristic for me. I'm very methodical and I'm very organized. And for me to just actually go and do that, it was just so out of character. But it must have been something that was just saying to me, like, this is what you need to do. This is something that you're going to be good at and you're going to enjoy it. Like, just go for it and try it. And just went for it, and touch wood, it's still going pretty good.
You know, I think it's funny that you say that, because I feel the same way kind of about my own business. My story is similar to yours in that I kind of did it very part-time and never had a plan in my head that would be my full-time thing. And then it was almost like it just came to me like, why not try it as a full-time thing? And I think, like, I'm definitely not a methodical person. I'm sort of a leap before you look, kind of the opposite of so I mean, I guess it wasn't totally out of character for me the way it was for you, but I think you're right. I think maybe there's just something in some of us who really want to do their own thing, and all of a sudden you just go, right, it's time, and go for it. So you've done amazing. That's obviously worked out really well for you.
Thank you. Well, do you know, see, when I was younger, and I only really thought about this maybe like a year or 2 ago, and my mum actually brought it up, and when she used to ask me, she used to say, what do you want to be when you're older? And I used to say to her, I want to be my own boss.
Oh.
Like, so it's strange that, like, I didn't really ever want to be a teacher, or, you know, like kids go through, like, they want to be a teacher or a nurse or a doctor. They usually pick people that are, but I actually just went, I think I want to be my own boss. And it was only like when I got into this and I took myself seriously and I was actually starting my own business, that I was like, oh, do you know what? I've actually done it. I've actually done what my younger self wanted to do. He wanted to be my own boss. So yeah, it was quite funny. That was only something that I realised quite recently, that I'd actually done that. So that was strange.
That's really funny, but it's interesting too how you weren't, you know, like you said, it wasn't, I want to be my own boss doing this set thing. It was just, I want to be my own boss. And it was way later in your life when you found something that was a passion for you and that kind of came naturally to you. And that's what you ended up doing. So walk us through, so you're at the point, you've handed in your notice. At this point, you've got a few clients that you're training kind of very part-time. How did you go from that to where you are now? Like, what was your process? How long did that take to play out?
So I left my job. I then joined a private gym, so not like your pure gyms. I joined a gym that was just a private facility, and I started to work out of there. And I just grew it really gradually. I just a lot of word of mouth. When you're in a private facility, unlike pure gym, where if you're a trainer, you have like say 300 eyes on you when you're training a client. I didn't have that when I worked in a private facility, but were never really enjoyed the commercial gym side of it. I think that they serve a purpose, but for me, it's just not somewhere that I really enjoyed to be in. So therefore, I didn't really want to coach in there. So I made a decision to look for private facilities and just pay rent. Luckily, I was quite savvy and I'd saved up enough money to see me through for 3 months if I basically didn't have any clients. I just saved all of my wages and was quite savvy that way. But basically what I did was, when I got into the private facility, was I just focused all of my attention on, first of all, the clients that I had. So I made sure that I serviced them the best that I possibly could and got them the best results, got them talking about me. Then that started word of mouth. And then from there, I started to really hammer home on the online marketing. So really getting myself out on Facebook. I joined networking groups like the one that we met in. I put myself in situations that I would have never put myself in before, like going to networking events. Like, that is not something that I would ever think to do before. Like, I hate talking about myself. So going and doing something like that, where I had to sit in a group of people that I had no idea what they did or who they were, and sit and talk about myself. So I just went and put myself out there, and I just grew it really slowly, like client by client, and I just kept the clients that I had. So I just built. So I didn't get 5 clients all at one time, then lose 3. I gained one by one by one by one, and like yourself, I've got a good few clients that I've had for nearly my entire career. So nearly 2 years, a lot of my clients have stayed for. So I would say that's how I've grown it, but that's also how I've maintained it.
Well, and I think what really spoke to me about you is, I think with personal training and fitness in general, people sort of have ideas in their head about what it is and what it's going to be like. And I think a lot of it, I mean, we've spoken about this before, but a lot of it is that self-confidence and self-esteem thing. And if you're at a point in your life where you're feeling quite out of shape, or maybe you've always felt kind of unfit or out of shape, it can be quite intimidating to go and work with someone at a big gym, like you're saying, like one of these big gyms where there's loads of people around watching, or even, you know, some of the sort of personal trainers, the stuff that they post online is very much about vanity. It's very, like, you know, showing off toned muscles and things like that. And I think that obviously speaks to a certain type of clientele, but you found a niche market in just being really kind of open and honest about what's important. And I think that's really worked for you, because there's not that many people out there doing that.
Yeah, I think in the beginning I really struggled to differentiate. So I almost felt as if I had to show what I was capable of, show what I looked like all the time, show that I was in shape, show that I eat like really well. But I guess people, to train with you, they have to see that you do encompass the full fitness thing. But I think that you have to show that you're real, and you have to show that you don't train 5-6 times a week. You have to show that you do like the odd takeaway. You have to show that sometimes you just don't feel like training. And I think in the beginning I was scared to show all that, because I think I was almost scared that it was going to be a weakness and that clients wouldn't want to train with me because, oh, well, she doesn't go to the gym every day, or she doesn't eat right, or she's eating ice cream. But actually being real and showing people that you're human as well, I think that that's what has really bonded my clients with, like me, with them. They feel that they don't feel